You ever wonder why some men walk into a room and everyone feels their presence even when they say nothing? It's not magic, it's not genetics, it's energy mastery. See, most men today, they waste their energy everywhere, on attention, on chasing, on trying to prove something to someone who doesn't even care. And then they wonder, why do I feel so drained? Why do I feel invisible? Why does everything feel so heavy, even when I'm doing the right things? Here's the truth no one told you. Energy is currency. Every text you send out of insecurity, every argument you choose because your ego's hurt, every time you scroll instead of train, you spend your energy. You leak your power. You can't master life if you can't master your energy. And that's the part most men skip. They build muscle but not discipline. They seek attention but never stillness. They chase women but not purpose, and then they call it love. But it's not love, it's addiction. Addiction to being seen. Addiction to being wanted. Addiction to escaping your own silence. So let me ask you, when was the last time you sat with your own thoughts without distraction? When was the last time you looked in the mirror and asked yourself, am I in control of my energy, or is my energy controlling me? Because the truth is this, every emotion, every urge, every decision you make either sharpens you or drains you. You either store your energy or leak it. There's no in between. When you master your energy, your presence changes. People feel something different around you, a kind of peace, a kind of focus, a calm that doesn't break. You stop reacting to everything and start responding. That's what Stoics knew. That's what great men lived by. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's the foundation of energy mastery. You can't control her actions, the world or fate, but you can control your state, and that's what makes you untouchable. This video isn't just about mindset, it's about training, because mastery isn't theory, it's repetition. It's waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's breathing instead of reacting. It's walking away when your ego wants to fight. It's speaking less but meaning more. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to train your mind and body to hold energy, how to become calm under pressure, focused when the world's chaotic, and confident, not because you try to be, but because you've become centered. You'll learn why detachment isn't cold, it's powerful, why absence isn't distance, it's magnetism, and why control isn't about dominance, it's about direction. So if you've ever felt weak, tired, or lost, stay right here. Because once you learn to master your energy, everything, your focus, your attraction, your peace changes forever. The leaks you don't see. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said, "I'm just tired, man," tired for no reason? You slept enough, you ate enough, you didn't even work that hard, but still, you wake up heavy. Why? It's not your body that's tired, it's your energy that's leaking. Every small reaction, every useless argument, every time you let someone's opinion control your mood, you lose energy. You don't notice it right away, but day by day, it drains you, bit by bit. And you start wondering, why do I feel weaker when I'm doing everything right? Why do I feel anxious even though nothing's wrong? Why do I feel restless even when I should feel calm? Because you've built your life around response instead of control. You're reacting to everything around you, the messages, the likes, the moods of people who don't even know who they are. Your peace isn't broken by chaos, it's broken by attention. See, energy mastery begins with noticing where your attention goes. Every time you scroll through noise that adds nothing to you, that's a leak. Every time you talk just to be heard, that's a leak. Every time you explain yourself to someone who's already decided not to understand, that's a leak. You can't master life if you can't protect your flow, and most men don't protect it because they confuse being available with being valuable. They think saying yes makes them good. They think giving everything makes them loved. They think being everywhere makes them important. But here's the paradox. When your energy is everywhere, you're nowhere. When you're too easy to access, people stop respecting your presence because presence that costs nothing is worth nothing. That's why Stoics trained themselves to withhold reaction. They didn't shut down emotions, they studied them. They asked, "Is this worth my peace?" before responding. They didn't waste their calm on chaos. That's power. And here's where most men fail. They think energy mastery is about isolation. It's not. It's about direction. It's not about cutting people off. It's about filtering what deserves your time, because not everyone earns your access. Not everything deserves your focus. Your energy is like sunlight. It can warm or it can burn, depends on where you aim it. Ask yourself, where's your energy going every day? Is it going into your goals or into defending your ego? Is it building something or just proving something? Because here's the truth. If your energy is scattered, your results will always be average. You can't win a war when your soldiers are running in different directions and your energy is no different. So here's the shift. You must reclaim your leaks, reclaim your focus from distractions, reclaim your emotional control from people who play with it. Reclaim your time from meaningless habits that drain you. Because when you stop chasing everything, you start attracting the right things. When your energy is calm, your presence becomes rare. And when your presence is rare, people notice. That's how you build real attraction, real confidence, and real peace. Not by pretending you don't care, not by being cold, but by choosing where your energy goes and refusing to waste it on what doesn't grow you. That's how a man begins to train himself. Not in the gym, not in front of people, but in silence. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you train your power. Every time you hold your energy, you expand it. And when your energy grows, everything around you shifts. People treat you differently. Life responds differently, because energy never lies. The body is the mind's shadow. You ever wonder why your thoughts feel heavier when your body feels weak? Why discipline in the gym somehow bleeds into discipline in life? It's not random, it's not just fitness talk, it's energy alignment, because your body is the shadow of your mind. Whatever your mind believes, your body follows, and whatever your body practices, your mind absorbs. If your body is chaotic, tired, sluggish, your mind mirrors that state. If your body is sharp, strong, and stable, your thoughts gain the same weight. You can't build mental power sitting still and drowning in noise. You train it through motion. Here's what most men get wrong. They think training is only about looks, about getting abs, getting size, getting attention. But Stoic training isn't about showing off the body. It's about building command over it. Because when you can command your body, you begin to command your mind. You learn control through sweat. You learn patience through pain. You learn stillness through movement. Every rep is a lesson in mastery. When your muscles burn and you don't quit, that's a lesson in emotional control. When you show up on days you don't feel like it, that's a lesson in discipline. And discipline is the bridge between intention and result. Ask yourself, how do you expect to have control over your emotions if you can't even control your routine? How can you build mental calm when your body is chaos? How can you hold power in presence when your body feels drained and dull? The mind and body are one system. You train one, you strengthen the other. But if you neglect the body, your mind pays the price, because your thoughts live inside your flesh. A weak vessel can't carry a strong spirit. That's why Stoics didn't separate philosophy from physical discipline. They believed strength wasn't vanity, it was clarity. When your blood moves, your thoughts sharpen. When you push your limits, your fears shrink. When you respect your body, your self-respect grows. And here's something powerful. Your energy is stored in your body, not just your brain. If you live lazy, eat like a mess, sleep poorly, your body becomes a cage that traps your mind. But when you train, breathe deeply, rest right, your body becomes a battery. It doesn't just hold energy, it creates it. You start to feel different. You wake up clearer. You speak slower but stronger. You walk with presence. You stop rushing because you own your pace. That's real energy mastery, not loudness, not hype. It's quiet command. It's when your body and mind move as one rhythm. That rhythm becomes your aura. Calm, magnetic, powerful. People can feel it before you even speak. Think about this. When a man who's truly centered walks into a room, he doesn't need to announce himself. His energy speaks. His body language tells the story. His stillness makes noise. Because when the body is trained and the mind is calm, you radiate stability. And stability is rare. That's why it's attractive. That's why it commands respect without effort. So if you want to master energy, don't just think calm, move calm. Don't just meditate, train. Don't just say you're focused, prove it through consistency, because your habits shape your energy more than your words ever will. Energy mastery is physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's one. The man who trains his body is training his mind to obey him, and the man who can command himself doesn't need to control anyone else. He doesn't chase validation, he doesn't beg for attention, he becomes it. That's the path to freedom. That's the Stoic way. Strength in silence, calm in chaos, purpose in every breath. The silent discipline. Structure builds power. Have you ever noticed that when your day has no structure, your mind starts to wander? When your morning begins with noise, your thoughts feel scattered all day. When you wake up late, scroll, react, it's like your energy drains before the day even starts. It's not random, it's not bad luck, it's disorder, because a man without structure lives in reaction, and a man in reaction has already lost control of his energy before he even speaks. See, energy doesn't just come from what you eat or how much you sleep. It comes from direction, and direction is born from structure. Most men wake up and wait to feel ready. They think motivation comes first, then action follows. But Stoics flipped that. They acted first and let discipline create motivation, because when you do what must be done, regardless of how you feel, your mind begins to trust you, and that trust is what builds real peace. That's energy mastery, not chasing motivation, but building inner order. Ask yourself, how much of your day do you control? Do you own your time, or do you give it away freely to distractions, people, and noise? Do you begin your mornings with intention or with reaction? Do you command your focus, or does your phone command it for you? Every day you drift is a day your power leaks. Every time you delay action, your inner strength erodes a little more. Every time you let emotion dictate your rhythm, your energy becomes weak. But when you create structure, something changes. You stop living on accident, you start living on purpose. Your actions begin to form rhythm, and rhythm is power. Let's make this simple. Structure is freedom. Without structure, you're chained to chaos. But with structure, you can move calmly through storms. That's what Stoicism taught, that discipline isn't punishment, it's design. It's the framework that protects your mind from collapse. It's what separates the grounded man from the restless one. Think of your morning like a launch pad. If you start slow, distracted, and unprepared, the rest of the day moves the same. But if you start strong, silent, focused, everything follows that tone. That's why your first hour matters more than your last. Wake up before the noise, move your body, breathe deeply, sit in stillness, plan, don't scroll. Don't check what the world wants from you. Decide what you want from the world. That's how energy begins to obey you. Because every time you master your morning, you remind your brain, I am in control. And here's the secret, no one tells you. Structure doesn't kill freedom, it creates it. When your actions are aligned, you don't have to overthink. When you have order, you move with calm confidence. You stop doubting what's next because you've already chosen your direction. And this calm confidence, it's magnetic. People feel it when you walk in a room. They sense that you're not rushed, not chasing. You move slow, but everything bends toward your pace. That's real power. Power isn't shouting, it's not needing to. Power isn't control over others, it's control over self. Structure is the hidden foundation of that power, because without it, even wisdom collapses. Without it, emotions drive decisions. Without it, presence fades. You want to master your energy? Then you must learn to master your time. Your body can't stay sharp if your mind is scattered. Your focus can't stay stable if your routine is chaos. When a man lives with structure, his energy stops leaking, his emotions settle, his purpose becomes clear, and his presence starts to carry weight. Because presence is just energy in order, and order is built, not found. So stop waiting to feel powerful. Stop waiting for peace to find you. Start structuring your life in silence, morning by morning, habit by habit. Because when your life has form, your spirit finds space. And when your spirit finds space, your energy becomes unshakable. That's the hidden art of masculine calm. That's the discipline no one sees but everyone feels. That's energy mastery through structure. The calm within chaos, emotional stillness as power. Have you ever wondered why some men stay calm even when everything around them is falling apart? Why they don't flinch when people test them, insult them, or try to break their rhythm? Why in chaos their eyes stay steady while everyone else panics? It's not luck, it's not numbness, it's training. Because stillness isn't the absence of emotion, it's mastery over it, and that's something most men never learn. Most men think strength means never feeling, so they suppress emotions, bury pain, pretend it doesn't hurt. They call that control, but it's not. That's fear wearing armor. Real strength is when you can feel deeply but not be ruled by it, when you can experience the storm but not become the storm. That's emotional stillness. That's the calm within chaos. Let me ask you something. How many times have emotions made you say something you didn't mean? How many times did anger make you act weak, or fear make you stay silent? How many times have you let someone else's energy control your peace? That's how most men lose power, not by lack of strength, but by lack of composure. See, your energy isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, spiritual, and when your emotions are untrained, your energy leaks everywhere. Every reaction costs energy, every argument steals focus, every burst of anger lowers your vibration. That's why Stoics trained themselves to pause before reacting. They understood between stimulus and response there's space, and in that space lies freedom. That pause is everything. That's where your power lives. When someone disrespects you, pause. When someone tests you, pause. When life throws chaos at you, pause. Because in that pause you choose. You choose whether to rise or react, to lead or follow emotion, to preserve peace or destroy it. That's the art of inner stillness. You stop being a slave to impulse and start being the master of direction. But here's the deeper truth. Stillness doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being emotionally intelligent. It means understanding where emotions come from, what they mean, and how to use them. Anger isn't bad if it's directed. Fear isn't weakness if it sharpens awareness. Sadness isn't failure if it deepens empathy. Every emotion can serve you if you control its direction. But when emotions control you, they consume you. The calm man wins because his energy stays focused. He doesn't waste it proving, chasing, or reacting. He holds silence when others demand chaos. He speaks with weight because his words come from still waters, not turbulent waves. And that calm, it attracts everything. Respect, attention, desire. Because people crave stability, and when a man becomes emotionally still, he becomes rare. Let's be real. Most men overreact. They chase validation. They respond to every insult. They explain themselves endlessly to people who never understood them. But the Stoic man, he doesn't explain. He expresses only when needed. He doesn't chase. He channels. He doesn't argue. He aligns. Because he knows, the louder the world becomes, the quieter he must be. That's how he keeps his power intact. Stillness is your inner fortress. You don't need walls when your emotions can't be hijacked. You don't need control over others when you've mastered control over self. That's what makes a man magnetic. Not force, not flash, not noise, but calm authority. The kind that says, I don't need to convince you, you'll feel it. When your emotions are balanced, your presence becomes grounded, your tone becomes steady, your mind stops shaking under pressure. You become someone people can trust. And women feel that, because emotional stillness is safety. It tells her, this man can handle life, handle pressure, handle me, not because he suppresses emotion, but because he's mastered it. He knows how to breathe through conflict. He knows when to walk away, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. He knows silence can be louder than anger. This level of calm isn't born overnight. It's trained. It's built through small moments, holding back from impulsive texts, staying composed during tension, walking away instead of arguing for ego. Every time you choose calmness, you're wiring your brain for control, you're building emotional muscle, and one day, chaos comes and you realize it doesn't move you anymore. That's when you've entered energy mastery, because when your emotions obey you, your energy follows you. When your emotions are calm, your body becomes powerful, your mind becomes sharp, your aura becomes untouchable. And that's the truth no one teaches. The calm man always wins, because his power isn't loud, it's steady, and steady power never breaks. Presence, the silent energy that commands respect. Ever walked into a room and felt someone's energy before they even said a word? You don't know why, but something about them feels solid. Their presence pulls your attention, not by force but by gravity. They don't need to talk louder, act tougher, or prove anything, yet everyone feels them. Now ask yourself, what gives a man that kind of presence? Is it his looks, his clothes, his money, or is it something deeper? Something invisible. Here's the truth. Presence is energy discipline. It's not about what you show, it's about what you withhold. See, most men today have no presence because their attention is scattered everywhere. They're here physically, but mentally they're lost. They're scrolling, comparing, chasing, reacting. Their mind is split between 10 things, and their body feels empty. You can't command the room when your own attention is fractured. You can't project calm authority when your focus leaks everywhere. Let's be honest. How many times have you found yourself physically in one place but mentally somewhere else? At the gym, but thinking about your ex. At dinner, but replaying old failures. At work, but scrolling through distractions. That's not presence, that's absence disguised as activity. And when your attention is divided, your energy weakens. People feel that. A distracted man feels lightweight. A man with presence feels anchored. The difference? Awareness. Presence means you're fully here, eyes steady, breath calm, emotions grounded, not overthinking the past, not anticipating the future, just here fully. And when a man becomes fully present, the world slows down around him. He becomes unshakable because his mind and body move as one. But the question is, why do so many men struggle with presence? Because they live addicted to reaction, constant dopamine hits, constant validation loops. They don't know how to be without doing. They fear silence. They fear stillness, because when everything goes quiet, they're forced to face themselves. That's where real presence begins, when you stop running from yourself, when you stop chasing attention, and instead, you own your attention. When you train your mind to be where your feet are, your energy aligns. When you align energy, people feel it. That's why a man who's present doesn't need approval. He doesn't perform for eyes. He doesn't adjust his tone for reactions. He's grounded, and grounding is magnetic. Women sense that instantly. A man who's present doesn't chase her attention. He holds his frame. He listens deeply. He speaks slowly. His silence carries weight because it's filled with awareness. Presence says, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm here. If you can meet me here, good. If not, I'll still be fine. That confidence doesn't need to be spoken. It radiates, but presence isn't just attractive, it's power. Because where your attention goes, energy flows. When you control your attention, you control your energy. And when you control your energy, you control your reality. Think about it. How many mistakes are made because a man wasn't fully present? He spoke without thinking, acted without awareness, got emotional over something he could have ignored. Presence prevents that. It builds awareness before action. It turns chaos into clarity. Every time you bring your attention back to your breath, to your body, to the now, you're strengthening your inner anchor. You're teaching your mind to obey you. That's what separates the weak from the powerful. Weak men drift, strong men direct. Presence turns even simple actions like walking, breathing, or listening into powerful signals of control. That's why Stoics practiced mindfulness before it became trendy. They knew your energy becomes unstoppable when your awareness becomes unshakable. It's not about being perfect, it's about being conscious, about noticing when your mind starts drifting and bringing it back, about realizing that presence is a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger your energy gets. When your presence grows, everything changes. Your conversations deepen, your body language strengthens, your eyes stop darting around nervously. You start moving slower, not out of laziness but out of certainty. Because when you know who you are, you stop rushing to prove it. And that's the secret no one talks about. The man with presence wins without trying, because while others chase validation, he embodies value. While others seek approval, he radiates calm certainty. Presence is the highest form of charisma, not built through tricks but through stillness. And the man who's mastered stillness, he becomes the center of every room quietly. That's energy mastery. That's control without control. That's what makes a man unforgettable. Discipline over desire, training the body, taming the mind. Ever notice how the strongest men don't talk about being strong? They just move like it. Their energy carries weight. Their silence has authority. You can feel it before they even speak. But here's the secret, that strength didn't come from talking tough. It came from training the body, from disciplining the flesh until the mind followed. Because you can't master your energy if you can't master your body. Now think about this. How many men say they want power but can't control what they eat? How many talk about peace but explode at the smallest inconvenience? How many claim they're focused but can't even stay consistent for a week? They want freedom, but they live like slaves to comfort. They want control, but can't even control their morning routine. And that's the problem. You can't build a powerful mind inside a weak body. You can't develop clarity while drowning in laziness, because the body is the foundation of your energy. When you train your body, not for aesthetics, not for likes, but for discipline, you sharpen your will. You're teaching yourself, I am not at the mercy of my impulses. Every rep, every run, every early morning, it's not about the body. It's about reminding yourself who's in control. See, the modern man is soft, not because of his heart, but because of his habits. He's been taught to chase comfort like it's happiness. But comfort kills energy. Comfort kills drive. Comfort kills the man inside you. That's why the Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. They'd sleep on the floor, eat plain food, train in the cold. Why? To remind the body, you obey me, not the other way around. Because the moment you start saying, I don't feel like it, and still do it anyway, that's when the shift happens. That's when the energy inside you changes. That's when you become someone who can't be broken by moods. And that's rare today. Everyone's looking for motivation. Few are building discipline. But motivation fades. Discipline doesn't. Motivation depends on how you feel. Discipline depends on who you are. So ask yourself, how many times have you waited to feel ready to start something? How many days did you waste because your emotions decided your effort? That's not power, that's permission. You're letting weakness lead. But here's the truth. Pain is the doorway to power. Every time you face pain willingly, your mind learns that pain can't control you. And when pain loses its grip, fear follows. That's the beauty of training. It's not just lifting weights, it's lifting yourself above excuses. When you work your body, you also work your spirit. You become more grounded, more aware, more present. your energy becomes cleaner, sharper, more stable, and people can feel that stability. Because a disciplined man doesn't flinch, he's calm in chaos. He doesn't need to shout to show strength. His stillness says enough. That's why women are drawn to men with discipline, not just muscles but self-control, because discipline signals security. It says, if life gets hard, I won't break. It says, if you test me emotionally, I'll respond, not react. That kind of man radiates masculine energy, quiet, composed, in command, and that kind of energy can't be faked. You can buy clothes, you can fake confidence, you can post filtered pictures, but you can't fake discipline. Your energy exposes you. That's why you need to train daily, not for ego but for alignment, because when the body becomes disciplined, the mind follows. When the mind and body move as one, that's when true energy mastery begins. Every time you say no to laziness, your energy strengthens. Every time you finish a workout when you don't want to, your willpower thickens. Every time you reject comfort for growth, your presence deepens. Discipline is spiritual. It's the bridge between who you are and who you could be. So if you're tired of being tired, if you feel dull, distracted or disconnected, start training, not to escape life but to face it, not to chase perfection but to build power. Because when your body is trained, your energy becomes calm. Your thoughts become sharper and your actions become deliberate. That's the essence of Stoicism in motion, not thinking your way into strength, but moving your way into mastery. And that's how you begin to command your energy, not through words, not through theory, but through sweat, silence, and self-control. That's where a man's peace begins, not in meditation, not in mantras, but in mastering the one battlefield that never lies, his own body. Turning emotion into energy. The Stoic formula for power. You ever notice how emotions can drain you faster than any workout? One text, one argument, one rejection, and suddenly all your energy's gone. You feel heavy, unfocused, weak. But here's the truth. Your emotions aren't the problem. It's your relationship with them that's killing your energy. See, most men never learned how to process emotion, only how to escape it. You get angry, you scroll, you feel sad, you distract, you feel anxious, you chase comfort. And every time you do that, your emotional muscles shrink. You start thinking feelings are enemies, things to fight or avoid. But emotions aren't enemies, they're signals, they're energy, raw, unfiltered, powerful energy, waiting to be directed. The problem is, no one teaches men how to use that energy. You've been told to stay positive, to stay strong. But staying positive isn't power, it's pretending. And pretending kills your growth, because every emotion you bury doesn't disappear. It sits inside, waiting. It leaks into your energy. It clouds your decisions. You start reacting instead of responding. You start living emotionally bankrupt, never empty, but never at peace. So let's ask something deeper. What if your emotions were meant to be used, not escaped? What if the fire of anger could fuel your focus? What if pain could be converted into power? What if sadness was just the body's way of clearing space for wisdom? That's where emotional mastery begins, not by suppressing emotions, but by transforming them. A Stoic man doesn't run from emotion, he reframes it. He looks at anger and says, good, more energy to act. He looks at heartbreak and says, good, more clarity for purpose. He looks at fear and says, good, a chance to strengthen my courage. See, emotions are just signals, energy looking for direction. If you direct them, they empower you. If you ignore them, they drain you. But here's where most men fail. They confuse control with suppression. They think being calm means being numb. No, calmness is not coldness. Calmness is control. It's the ability to feel everything, yet not be controlled by anything. Imagine this. Two men face rejection. The first man gets angry, spirals, texts her, overthinks, loses focus. The second man feels the same sting. But instead of reacting, he breathes. He trains, he works, he builds. That pain doesn't break him, it fuels him, it sharpens his presence. That's what Stoic energy looks like. It's fire, contained, focused, productive. When you can turn emotional chaos into creative energy, you become unstoppable, because the world can't control a man who uses pain as fuel. That's how you shift from being drained by emotion to being driven by it. But here's the key. You can't do that if your life has no structure. You need routines that absorb emotion. Workouts, writing, cold showers, silence, physical rituals that convert emotion into motion. Because energy doesn't disappear, it just changes form. If you don't give it direction, it becomes destruction. That's why emotional mastery isn't about ignoring how you feel. It's about giving your feelings somewhere to go. When you're angry, work harder. When you're sad, sit in silence and learn. When you're rejected, refine yourself. When you're lost, serve others. That's emotional alchemy, turning low energy into higher forms of strength. See, most men live as emotional reactors. They don't choose how to feel. They inherit feelings from everyone else, from women, from society, from friends. That's why they feel drained. Their energy belongs to everything outside of them. But when you master emotional energy, your energy becomes sovereign. You stop reacting to the world. You start influencing it. You become grounded, rooted, unshakable, and that kind of energy is rare because it can't be faked. It's built through patience, pain, and presence. When you learn to sit with your feelings instead of running, you unlock power most men will never touch, because a man who can't sit still will always be chasing peace outside of himself. But a man who can be still becomes peace itself. That's the shift. That's when energy mastery becomes real. You stop fighting the fire. You become it, and that's what Stoicism is. Not detachment from emotion, but command over it. It's the art of feeling deeply while staying unshaken. It's the power of saying, I feel it, but I still move. That's what separates the average from the awakened, the weak from the wise, the reactive from the radiant. Because when you can master your emotional energy, no rejection, no loss, no chaos can steal your peace again. And that's the energy every great man radiates, silent, stable, strong. The kind that makes the world listen when he walks in. The untold power of sexual energy, the final discipline of the Stoic body. Let me ask you something real. Why do so many powerful men lose everything the moment they chase pleasure? Why do strong men crumble not from war or failure, but from lust? It's strange, right? We live in a world where discipline is worshipped in the gym, but forgotten in the bedroom. And yet, that's where most of your power leaks. That's where your energy gets stolen, quietly, invisibly, every single day. See, sexual energy is not just desire. It's your life force, your creative fuel, your drive, your spark. It's the same energy that makes you chase goals, build things, protect and lead. It's raw, electric potential. But here's the problem. Most men never learn to control it. They waste it. They trade it for quick pleasure. They let it rule them instead of refining it. You've probably felt it before, that emptiness after chasing pleasure, that tired, foggy feeling, that strange sadness that follows after you indulge. You didn't lose a moment of fun, you lost power. And when you lose that power often, you lose presence, you lose focus, you lose that magnetic energy that draws people in, especially women. Let's be honest, we live in a time that profits off keeping men weak. Every scroll, every click, every ad, it's designed to keep your energy leaking, to keep you chasing something that never satisfies. And the more you chase pleasure, the less you feel alive. But here's where a Stoic man separates himself from the crowd. He learns how to channel that same energy. He doesn't kill his desire, he commands it. Because this isn't about denial, it's about direction. When you feel that pull, that craving, it's your body showing you you're alive. That energy isn't meant to be wasted. It's meant to be used to build, to focus, to create, to conquer. The Stoics knew this. They believed true power was built through the balance of body and spirit, that when a man could master his desires, he could master anything. Imagine this: every time you feel that desire rise within you, instead of releasing it instantly, you breathe, you redirect it, you train, you write, you move, you pour that same force into your goals. You'll feel it. Your energy starts to change, your focus sharpens, your aura gets heavier, you walk different, you talk slower, you look people in the eye longer. You become a man who radiates quiet control, and women feel that without you saying a word, because feminine energy is drawn to masculine energy that can contain itself. That's the paradox. The less you chase pleasure, the more pleasure chases you. The less you release energy carelessly, the more powerful you feel internally. See, your seed isn't just physical, it's symbolic. It's your essence, your drive, your spirit, your will. When you keep spilling it for nothing, you tell your body you've already achieved, and so it stops pushing you forward. But when you learn to retain and redirect that energy, something shifts. Your mind gets clearer, your confidence grows, not from validation, but from vitality. You start to feel a magnetic calm, a silent power. That's why the great thinkers, warriors and monks spoke about sexual transmutation. It's not about shame or celibacy, it's about refinement, turning raw desire into creative power, turning hunger into purpose. But it takes awareness, because temptation is everywhere and it's disguised as freedom. They tell you pleasure is liberation, but it's not. Pleasure is the leash that keeps you distracted. Freedom isn't doing what you want. Freedom is having the power to not do what weakens you. That's what energy mastery really means. It's not about control through fear, it's control through understanding. You don't avoid pleasure because it's bad. You choose discipline because you value your energy more. And here's the reward. When you live like that, you start feeling alive again. You wake up with purpose. You train harder. You think deeper. You love stronger. You don't walk around chasing because your energy already attracts. You don't need to prove anything because your presence already says it. That's the difference between a man who wastes energy chasing women and a man who builds a life so magnetic that women chase the energy around him. Because real masculine energy doesn't beg, it creates, it builds, it radiates, and when you learn to channel that force, your energy becomes sacred, your presence becomes powerful, your life becomes disciplined. That's the highest form of self-mastery. That's what the modern world fears, a man who doesn't need external pleasure to feel complete. Because once you master your sexual energy, you master your focus, your emotions and your destiny. And that, brother, is what separates a pleasure-driven man from a purpose-driven man. The first lives for moments, the second builds legacies. Becoming the still flame, the final evolution of the Stoic man. Let me ask you something deep. What if real power doesn't come from how much you do, but from how little can move you? What if the highest form of strength isn't about control over the world, but about peace within yourself? See, most men spend their lives chasing force. They want louder voices, bigger muscles, more attention, more proof, but what they don't realize is true power isn't loud. It's still. It's quiet. It's heavy. Like fire that doesn't dance wildly, but burns steadily, silently, with a glow that doesn't fade. That's the energy of a man who's mastered himself, mind, body, and spirit. He doesn't chase peace. He is peace. He doesn't search for freedom. He radiates it. Because when you finally align your mind and your body, something profound happens. You stop fighting yourself. Your thoughts stop attacking you. Your emotions stop ruling you. You stop reacting and start responding. That's where the Stoic power lives, in the space between emotion and action. But how do you reach that space? You train your awareness. You breathe before you speak. You pause before you react. You detach before you attach. And in that small moment, that breath, you find mastery. Because most men live like slaves to their impulses. They're owned by their moods, their desires, their fears. They wake up reacting to messages, to emotions, to people, and they think they're living when they're actually being controlled. But the man who masters stillness, he's untouchable. He can stand in chaos and still look calm. He can feel the storm inside, but not let it move his decisions. He can experience pain, but not become it. That's not numbness, that's awareness, and awareness is the highest weapon a man can ever wield. Let me tell you something. Energy mastery isn't about becoming some emotionless monk. It's about becoming a man who feels deeply, but isn't destroyed by those feelings. It's about learning to hold your fire without burning yourself. The world will test you, women will test you, life will test you, your own desires will test you, and every test is asking you one question: can you stay centered? If you can, you win. Not over others, but over yourself. Because once you master yourself, you master everything around you. See, the final stage of masculine energy is peace, not because life becomes easy, but because your mind no longer fights it. You move through life like water, soft yet unstoppable. You bend but never break. You lose but never collapse. You hurt but never surrender your core. And when you reach that state, something magical happens. Everything begins to align naturally. Opportunities flow toward you. People respect your calm. Women feel your stabilities. You stop chasing outcomes, and outcomes start chasing your energy. That's the paradox the world doesn't understand. The man who no longer seeks control becomes the one who has it, because control is never about dominance, it's about presence. Think about it, a storm makes noise but the mountain doesn't move. That's who you become when you master your energy, the mountain, grounded, quiet, massive, unmoved, and yet alive, deeply, intensely alive. Because you've learned how to breathe through chaos. You've trained your mind to see clearly. You've taught your emotions to serve you, not enslave you. You've built your body as a vessel for your will. You've turned your energy into fuel for creation instead of destruction. That's energy mastery. That's the man who walks through life untouched by noise, who doesn't chase, doesn't force, doesn't fear. He just moves, with intent, with calm, with quiet power. And here's the truth. Once you reach that level, you stop needing validation from anyone. You stop needing to prove your worth to women. You stop needing to convince people you matter, because you know you do. You carry it in your energy. You live it in your stillness. You project it in your presence. You realize you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And when you are peace, when you are purpose, when you are disciplined energy, you attract a world that mirrors that same stability. That's when everything shifts. Life stops being a battle. It becomes a dance, a slow, steady rhythm between effort and surrender. You don't fear losing people anymore because you know nothing real can ever be lost. You don't fear rejection because your worth doesn't depend on anyone's approval. You don't fear solitude because silence becomes your kingdom. And from that kingdom you lead, not by dominance, not by fear, but by energy. Your calm becomes influence. Your silence becomes power. Your discipline becomes magnetism, because every man can talk power, but very few can embody it. So remember this, energy mastery isn't about becoming superhuman. It's about becoming fully human, conscious, stable, and alive. You are not meant to live in reaction. You are meant to live in rhythm, and once you've reached that rhythm, you've already won. Because the final reward of mastery isn't control or attraction or power. It's peace. Peace that doesn't break when tested. Peace that doesn't depend on anyone. Peace that feels like home because it comes from within. That's the end of the journey. That's the solution every man's been chasing. Not more, but less. Not louder, but deeper. Not harder, but calmer. You are the still flame, you are the mountain, you are the peace you've been seeking all along, and once you become that, you'll never have to chase another thing again.